A 2025 report revealed that 45% of churches now use AI. That was an 80% increase from the previous year. As Christians, the question isn't if we would use AI, but how do we use AI? Hi, my name is Yvonne Obasage and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please, I'd love for you to stay around so you can hit the subscribe button so you can get more videos like this. And if you're a returning watcher, well, let's dig into this video. Thank you for coming back. Let's be honest, artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI, can be very daunting and it can feel very scary, especially if you know absolutely nothing about it. Here's a brief rundown of what artificial intelligence is. According to Google, artificial intelligence is a set of technologies that allows computers to think logically or create a set of logical decisions or patterns. However, the most famous types that we have today, or generative artificial intelligence, are the ones that create new forms of media such as pictures, videos, text, based on previous examples or by mimicking what has existed before. And the talk of AI sparked a lot of controversies. There's a lot of discussion around it. There's the human aspects, there's the ethics aspects. Are we safe is the general question with AI. Now that we've gotten the basics of AI out of the way, we're now going to talk about the real connection here, AI and the church. In this regard, the question is, how do we as Christians make sure that there are some boundaries that AI does not cross? If that question doesn't bother you every day, it bothers me. And here's what I have to say about it. First of all, in this video, we're going to look at where the church stands now with AI and what it is doing or what it is using AI for. Then we're going to move into the real paradoxical question. We're going to look at AI and the human aspects of it in the church. And thirdly, we're going to look at what us as Christians can do moving forward with AI. Where does the church stand now? Like I said earlier, in 2025, at least 45% of the church is using AI. But it's not as bad as you think. Let's slow down for a bit. Only a few of them actually use it for the sermons. Yes, I know. People are using AI to generate their sermons. However, the church uses it for a lot of administrative tasks. If you're a student, a worker, if you're a person at this point, you've probably used AI to come up with a quick email, or you've used it to reply an email that you weren't sure how you were going to tell that person. Maybe Sally at the office, you were like, if I give you a piece of my mind, but here's how we write it, counter arguments, but still sound nice, ding. However, it starts to cause a slippery slope because the question is, where does it start and where does it end? And in this regard, I'm talking about the point where Christians even start asking AI in general. Christians start asking AI in general questions there where they should be asking God or the Holy Spirit. For instance, questions about your career, questions about certain decisions you should take. I would know. I've been there before. And it's a very slippery slope. You start asking yourself real questions. Why do I even believe in God? And if AI has all these answers to these questions, why do I still need to pray, right? That now helps you understand why you're a Christian. You have to actually go back to God and think about it and say, am I with you because I'm trying to get something from you? Or am I with you because I love who you are as God? Right? So back to AI and the church. Well, we are still in AI and the church anyway. That doesn't matter. The church right now is also at a very crucial point. It's just like when we had to adopt mass printing for printing of the Bible so that thousands of people everywhere, so that people like you and I, whoever's watching this video, could have access to a physical copy of the Bible. Technology moved forward and now, at least, every Christian may have a Bible or a digital copy of the Bible on their phones. And that's exactly how AI has come into this era as well. It is a new form of technology, yes, but human beings are learning to adapt with it. Why not the church? Why not us? Why not the church? Why not use it to our benefits to spread the gospel the way we've always done? One thing we must understand is that AI is not entirely bad. The simple tasks that it helps you to do today, it's like when cars were first invented or when the airplane was first invented. I'm sure there were people who would not want to get into a flying contraption. Yet here we are today. I can't even imagine wanting to go to Singapore and not fly. What, I should trek? The obvious answer is to fly. However, if you put yourself in the shoes of people who were born at least 20 to 30 years before the first airplane was invented, they could not conceive the idea of getting on a flying contraption. I really love that phrase. I love that people used to call it a flying contraption. I just think it's amazing how humanity has grown. So that begs the question, how are we going to perceive AI as the church? And that's where it leads to chapter 2. AI and us, the humans, the cuties. Human beings are very interesting. God created us in his image and likeness, and sometimes we don't like to act like it. Here's what that means. AI is not inherently evil. However, the use of human beings with it can be evil, such as asking questions you should be asking God, or using it for things that are not moral or legal. Right now, the artificial intelligence ethical hotspot is still stirring because there's so much AI can do. And we're learning with it as well. We're still figuring it out. AI is growing per second. The possibilities are endless because as a human being, I am an endless loop of creativity. And the same goes for you as well. There's no telling what you can achieve, what you would be able to do. Same thing for me as well. And there's 8 billion people in this planet who think like that. Definitely something wrong is going to happen. So now we have to draw the line as Christians, as human beings, with how we integrate AI into the church. We're not trying to use ChatGPT to come up with sermons. This entire video was made with AI, by the way. A disclaimer. Just kidding. But we're not supposed to into whatever kind of generative learning models we're using and say, hey, I have a service on Sunday. Could you please come up with some a sermon I can give based on, Luke 2:18. Where does God come in? Valid question. However, at this point, there's no telling what human beings can do. It is almost like a wild concept for human beings because we don't love to be controlled. We love to have choice, which God gave us. But sometimes choices ruin people. So moving forward, in the third section, here are things that we would do as Christians. Here are 3 clear things that I think we should do as Christians to help us adopt AI in this time and age. 1, do not forsake God. It doesn't matter what AI is able to do. In fact, I genuinely predict that in the next by the time I'm 50 years old, AI will probably be standing next to me as a human robot. People would even say that what I'm even saying is already happening because I can't even stress myself to start thinking of the possibilities. It's endless, like I said. It's an infinite loop. Again, I'm not trying to scare you about AI. Love it. Sometimes it just needs to sit down. But essentially, just love God with all your heart, all your might, all your strength. That is where your true relationship with God begins, whether or not AI exists. Your relationship with God should be boundless. AI should not be something or a tool that can easily yank you away from God or take you away from his presence. You have to be very mindful of how you use it. And somebody that's very curious. I'm not saying I jump on every trend, but I love to find out what's going on, right? I want to be at the forefront. If AI today, there's AI in robotic form driving a car, I want to see how that goes. I want to be able to experience it for myself. But sometimes you have to understand that wisdom is profitable to direct. You may not necessarily need to put yourself in every situation to have that experience or to even have an idea of what you're talking about. Thankfully, Google is free. Your internet is free. You can read about somebody else's experience, but all I'm trying to say is you don't always have to put yourself in the driver's seat, find out how things operate. So as Christians, we have to be very mindful of the certain tools that we use or certain tools that we allow into our digital space. And I think that's another thing that people are not really mindful of, that the same way you have your physical environment, and as Christians too, we talk a lot about the spiritual environment and how they're connected. A third one is growing, and is growing quite beautifully, might I add. Your digital space. You call it digital footprints, how you like pictures, every account you sign up for, your emails, your social media accounts, your e-commerce accounts, your watching TV accounts. If you were to put everything in one place, it's like one very big, giant neighborhood, right? And you have a digital persona. Everything you're doing on the internet is there. So it's like walk out of your house and you're seeing your neighbors and you're seeing the trees and you're seeing everything. You walk out of your phone and you're seeing your Instagram, you're seeing your Twitter, X. You're seeing your notifications, your Pinterest, your Snapchat, Telegram, all those things, they're just right there in front of you. That has become your digital space. And as Christians, we also have to be very mindful of what comes in there. We must protect it at all costs because that now has a direct impact on your mental health and your heart. And the Bible says to guide your heart, out of it flows issues of life, and to essentially guard what goes into your heart, right? And yeah, as Christians, I'm not saying we have to be scared of AI. It is not to bring fear or to produce fear, but it is just to realize that they're just tools. That's what they are. They're just tools. And we should ensure that they're not more than that in our day-to-day usage. Because part of the reasons why I'm having this conversation is that some of us, we don't even use it in our Christian lives or in the Christian dimension, but you might be using it every day at work. So the same way it doesn't affect you at work, you're not trying to let AI replace you. And that's another topic that's getting out of hand. Oh, is AI going to take my job? Oh my God, I'm a graphic designer. I'm going to lose my job next tomorrow. It will probably still take a bit of time if we're being honest and practical. So the same way you don't let it bother you at your job, it shouldn't invade your space as a Christian either. You should set up those boundaries, set up those walls, and use it ethically, the way it is meant to be used. And I pray that most importantly, God gives us wisdom and always helps us, know what to do at the right time. Thank you. And if this video has helped you think more clearly about faith in these recent times, as a Christian, or faith in times of AI, please like and share it to someone who you think might need this video. I'm also very interested in your thoughts. What do you think about faith and AI in these recent times? And how do you think it's impacting the church? Let me know in the comment section. Until the next video. Bye.